that's my teaching style, but definitely want to say thank you to everybody for coming out. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see a lot of faces I don't recognize. And post-pandemic, I have not really been in the office. So if you joined since 2020, we probably have not met in person. So I just want to say, hey, I'm Kiera. I've been in this office since 2017. I transitioned out of teaching. I was an elementary school teacher. And that's what I went to college for, Howard University. And so God just pulled me in a different direction unexpectedly. And it's been one of those things where it's just kind of like, I wasn't meant to be here. I don't know how I got here, but he has been really, really faithful. And because I'm an educator at heart, this part of the job comes very naturally for me. And I didn't realize that until I started getting a lot of questions about like, how are you doing it? What are you saying? How does it go? And enough people were asking me about it for me to be like, okay, it's time for me to like do a class. So that's kind of how we got here. I'm very interactive as a instructor. I don't want to just talk at you. So y'all probably gonna hate me, but I want everybody to tell me their name, how long y'all been in the office, because I really want to get to know you guys. I'm very, very approachable. I'm very, very willing to help. If you guys ever need anything beyond this class, feel free to reach out. I have my contact information that's going to be on the last slide. So just want to put that out there because a lot of times you might be walking around the office, you're like, I don't know, should I say something? Should I add something? So with me, anytime, any place. And Patricia was my mentor when I came in, and that's kind of how she opened herself up to me. And I've always tried to be like that with everybody that I meet as well, because I know how it is. Like being a first-time agent, we're in a tough market. So it's just a lot going on right now. People need help. So I'm definitely willing to help. So I'm not going to call on anybody, but whoever wants to start, just say your name and how long you've been in the office. Okay. Yes.
My name is Angela Cummings, and I joined KW in January of 22 last year.
Nice.
J. Roll, I've been in the office since November 2020, and that's when I got my license.
My name is Sharday, and I've been here 5 months. I joined in May.
Oh, less than a year. That's cool.
Tanika Houston, I've been here 2 years.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Francis Anthony, and I've been here since the end of June this year.
Very nice. So a lot of new agents. It's exciting.
About 2.5 years.
Okay.
I'm Cody Rouse. I've been in this office, and have my license since August of 2022.
Hey, I'm Palanda Shea, I've been here since March of 2020. And licensed in 2018.
Hey, come on in. We're just chilling, girl. We're just saying names. How long you been in the office? Nothing too uptight. Who else hasn't gone yet? Nice.
Tricia Watson, been here forever. 2015, been in real estate for 21 years. And I am here to support my first mentee.
Shayna Jackson, I've been here initially, 2019, I left and I came back, and I think we came back around May. Came back around May.
Hi, my name is May West, and I've been in this office since May of this year, and an agent since November of 2020.
Very nice. Everybody go.
I'm Giselle, I'm Herman here. I've been an agent for 2 years. My name is you guys, and I originally came from Missouri. I was an agent there, and I did a reciprocal license. So I've been here since 2022. Well, I got my license actually before I arrived here. So I got my license in the end of 2021. And so I'm just here now to soak up all the knowledge that I can so that I can be active.
All right. All right, so I have some questions before we get started. Who in here visualized themselves being an agent? Like this was always your dream job? That makes sense. And I asked that question because most of us get into real estate without any type of preconceived plan. And so with that, I want to just like put out there, it's okay. Like, it's okay to fail, it's okay to not know, it's okay to not have it all together. I know a lot of times, like for purposes like this, we're always having to be on and present in front of our clients. But you can ask her, with so many times I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you know, as long as you're professional and you show your best, you put your best foot forward in front of your clients, they're gonna respect you. If you don't know an answer to something, you just tell them, hey, let me get back to you once I find that out, and you follow up within 24 hours. And so that's what I was doing initially until I really was able to kind of get into a groove and really learn the real estate game and how it really goes. Is there anybody in here who has not done a buyer consultation ever? And this is like, I'm getting fresh information. Okay. All right. So that's about half. Okay, cool. So we're going to have some fun. If you guys do not take anything from me today, these are my main points that I want to say. Have the right mindset, do it scared, and be inquisitive. And so just to touch on those points, I don't want to get too preachy, but I love God, I love Jesus.
Amen.
And having the right mindset and like starting your day off right is so, so key to every part of this process. Buyer consultations, listings appointments, showings, all of the above. Like, you have to put yourself in the right mindset, because this job is built on faith. We don't know when the next check is coming. We don't know when the next client is coming. All we can do is focus on making sure our mind is right and making sure we're doing our 20% of our 80-20 to make sure that we get clients. But it's no guarantee. We're in a market right now, rates have shot up and people are like, I'm scared to buy, I'm scared to sell. What is out there for me? So in this game, you really have to have the right mindset. And so for me, that's praying, that's journaling, that's meditating, that's, you know, saying scripture. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Like, our team got presented with something yesterday, and I was just like, in 7 years, I've never heard of this. So it's something new every single day. And so if you do not have the right mindset, it's going to be very difficult for you to navigate this business. And I just say all that to say, you want to be 100% confident when you're doing your buyer consultations. You don't want to have any reason for your clients to have doubting you. And that's not being perfect. It's about, I'm going in knowing that I'm the expert and I have what it takes to be successful as their agent and teach them about the market. So that is the first main point. The second main point is do it scared. Y'all I'm still scared every day. Like every single day. Terrell is in the room. I call Terrell like once a week, like, hey, I don't know what's happening, but I need your help. So, and that's 7 years in. And that's why I said to you guys in the room, feel free to approach me if you have a question, get my information, send me a text. I'm real bad about answering the phone, y'all, but I will call you back in 24 hours. That's my #1 goal. But yeah, hit me up anytime, because I want to be that for you guys. I want to be a helping hand. I don't want you guys to feel like you're here alone. Me and Cody and Philanda Shay and Suzette, we were in the same bowl group, and it's so amazing just to see, like, because we kind of have our own group. I mean, we don't talk in it every day or anything like that, but I think Cody said she joined August of 2022. I don't want to like call her out, but I feel like when you do have the right people around, you can truly grow. And like Philanda Shay and Suzette and I both know Cody, when she was at our bowl girl table, she was like, I don't have no clients. I don't know how I'm about to do this. And how many closing type you had since bowl? Exactly. So like, so do it scared. Do it scared, y'all. And that goes back to the mindset. When you have faith, you can jump out into the unseen and the unknown. And then lastly, be inquisitive. Take all the classes, ask all the questions, ask to shadow people on listing appointments. My first listing appointment, I was like, I'm scared. She was like, I'll just come with you. So that was in 2017. She came with me to my first listing appointment. And from there, I had it in the bag, because I realized, I was like, oh, this is not as hard as I thought it was. You don't have to have the perfect script. Like I said, your clients are just really trying to get information. And so you're just there to guide them, facilitate, and just provide information. And like I said, if you don't know something, just say, hey, I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am. Tell me your names again when you're asking questions, because I definitely want to learn everybody's name.
My name is Davida.
Okay.
But I don't have a question. I just wanted to pick on top of what you said about how you said when you went to the first listing appointment, like you didn't know it, that kind of made you nervous. And I think, like, for me, it's not the people. Like, I relate to people really well, and I have like great people skills. It was the paperwork for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh my God, I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to. And so now when I go through the paperwork, I'm like, well, this is easy.
Yep.
This is all I like to do. So that makes it a lot better.
Yes, yes, and focus on your strengths. Like you said, I'm good with people, and that's what you focus on.
Yeah.
When they start asking about, when you start talking about the listening presentation and the paperwork side, you're gonna say, I'm gonna send you that in an email until you feel comfortable. I'm serious. Like, you don't have to, we feel like I gotta explain everything. I gotta tell them how many homes on the market. I gotta tell them about the rates. I gotta tell them about this, you really don't. Most people, and since we're talking about buyer consultation specifically, most of my clients, all they wanna know is how much does it cost me to buy a house?
Yeah.
Like all that other foo-foo stuff, they're just kind of like, that's cute, but I'm trying to figure out how much earnest money do I need? How much do I need for a down payment? Those are the main questions I get. And you'll have other clients, depending on their personality, that will try you. And you be ready for that too. You will have some people who have been on Zillow for all their lives, and Zillow is better than you are. So you have to be prepared for objections, but for the most part, people are just wanting information and they're trusting you as the expert. So keep that in mind. I don't know who didn't get like a little cheat sheet, but I'm gonna start over here and you can just pass it around if you didn't get it already. So let's jump into the nuts and bolts of our presentation today. So every agent is different. When I got into real estate, no shade to real estate, but all I remember learning about was like how to call FSBOs and expireds. And that is not the way that I run my business. So just because I'm presenting something today doesn't mean you have to do it this way. Every agent in the office does their business completely different. We have agents, my mentor, she was like, I door knock. I still have not, well, I won't say that. I have door knock, but not to the point of like how she had. This is the master door knocker and I'm still haven't gotten to that level. So you have to learn how to run your business with the way it's best for you. However, I'm gonna highlight some things that I definitely think you guys should make sure you include in the process to make your clients feel safe and trust you as their agent. And so the tagline for this class, I don't know if you guys saw online, but it was building relationships. Everything in real estate talks about how often you're talking to your clients, how often you touch them. And so for that reason, before the consultation, I have a whole process before we even get to this step. And so, like I said, you don't have to do it this way, but I do recommend certain things. And for me, time is precious. You know, the average agent makes, I believe, about $200 an hour. And so time is money, literally. And so a lot of times you get to the consultation, there's no pre-approval letter, you don't know what's going on. And so this is kind of one of the things that takes a lot more of your time. And so you don't want to waste your time or your client's time. So I recommend that this takes place after your client has spoken with the lender and gotten a pre-approval letter or pre-qualification rather. So that's my first piece of advice. Make sure you talk to that client and make sure they have the pre-qualification letter. So when you get to this point, you're not wasting time. And I know Terrell was mentioning in team meeting yesterday that my conversion from consultation to close is 100%. It's not quite 100%. However, I do believe that getting that qualification before this is going to save a lot of time and a lot of confusion.
I said 98.
Okay. So definitely get that qualification before this call. Some other things I do a 15-minute discovery call in general just to assess my client. Hey, what's your credit score? How long have you been on the job? Do you have any money saved? And then from there, I have a team of preferred lenders. And so I'm a resource. And this is part of building a relationship. Most people that I talk to on a regular basis have not spoken to a lender ever in life. So they're relying on us to be resourceful. And that's another good thing that I'm strong in is being a resource. And so I'm going to say, hey, if you have down payment, you need to close, we can get you closed quickly. We can get you a pre-approval letter in a week. Sharina. I pretty much go to Sharina for everything. If y'all don't have preferred lenders, start with Sharina. She is amazing. So I pretty much send most of my people to her, and it just depends. Like I have clients who want to be in the city. So I have a lender that does City of Atlanta programs. So I have a plethora of lenders. So I try to, based on that call, I try to assess where they are and pair them with the right lender. You're already starting off great with your client just by taking the time to do that. And how do you like expand your preferred lender and attorney network? Just by going to their lunch and learns, going to their classes. So that's the be inquisitive part. Go and learn as much as you can, because it's only going to help you and it's going to bring value to your client. So definitely have that pre-qualification done. So we have that call, I pair them with the lender, we do a follow-up email, we do a follow-up call, and we schedule the buyer consultation once they have that pre-qualification letter. All right, y'all have any questions? Yes.
how do you pivot if they, you know, that initial call, which majority of them have not been pre-qualified? Like, what is your script or language to them to encourage them to go ahead and get pre-qualified without feeling like you're blowing them off?
That's a great question. So, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm really good at like assessing people. So I can tell the ones who are hungry and ready to go and the ones who need to be nurtured and just put on a drip campaign and just kind of be like, okay, they're not ready. The two things that stand out to me is what their credit score is and what the monthly payment is. The monthly payment, if you ask them what their monthly payment is and it's not realistic at all, they're likely not going to be ready for this market because it's a shocker. Because a lot of people, if you're anybody from Atlanta in here? Okay, so I am too. I'm from Atlanta. You could literally get a house. I mean, just to be transparent, y'all, my mortgage on my house is like $1,200. I bought my house at 3% in 2021. So, and that was just 2 years ago. So people are looking for that. And that's not realistic in this market. So for people like that, you are going to have to kind of really massage them into being ready for this step. But if they say my credit score is 640 and I'm willing to pay $2,300 a month for a mortgage, I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta talk to my lender tomorrow. Like you can buy a house. And the thing about it is most people think they can't do it, whether they have good credit, whether they have the money, whether they have the down payment. Most people are like, I'm not ready for this. And they don't even know why. So it's our job to dispel the myth and let them know you can do this. Let's talk to my lender and let me prove to you by talking to her, you are ready. If people start saying they have a 580 at 585, and I hate to just be like that, y'all, but it's just, and it's crazy because those be the most hopeful people, y'all. I got a 500, I'm ready to buy a house. It's just like, no, no, you're not. And so what I do is, again, Sharina is one of my go-to agents. Now they have Credit Essentials on Fridays at 1 via Zoom. So they're going to get that link. They're going to get the app. They're going to get a drip. One thing that I started to do as well is, and y'all, your clients will call you out and use that as good feedback. Like I had a client before and I didn't talk to her for a month because originally I did monthly check-ins. So now on my first call, I say, how often and what channel would you like to be followed up on? So my clients will say, oh, I'm good, I'm chill, once a month is fine. Or they might say, I need you to talk to me every week and I need you to call me every week because I need that type of accountability. So, because one of my clients, she was like, hey, I haven't heard from you in forever. It had only been 3 weeks, but in her mind, she was like, you should have been following up, but I never asked. So ask as many questions as you can. But yes, I do ask about how often and what channel do you want me to follow up on as well. But back to Terrell's question, if they have the budget and the credit score, I'm pretty much able to convince them to go ahead and apply with the lender. One thing that we do have a lot of hesitation on is that if they pull my credit, is my score going to drop? So that I get that a lot, and you're going to get that a lot too. And you just let them know it should not. Per the lender, you should be able to shop as a consumer within 30 to 45 days without your score dropping. So again, just making sure you're providing information. So I skipped over my whole cute little agenda, but we just gonna keep moving. All right, so I touched on everything you're supposed to do. One of the things that I do very well as well is after they've gotten pre-qualified and we set up the buyer consultation dates, I'm reaching out to their lender, whether it's my preferred or not, to ask a whole bunch of questions. Are they enrolled in down payment? What do they qualify for? Did you guys talk about monthly payment? How quickly can you, how short can your finance and appraisal contingency be? How short can you close? Because all of that is gonna bring value to your client on your buyer consultation. Because you come in there like, boom, I've already connected to your lender. I already know X, Y, and Z about you. And they're like, oh, wow. And a lot of times your clients don't even know what to ask their lender. So it looks really good on your part to ask those questions for them to be like, oh, I didn't even think about this. I didn't even think about that, especially when it comes to making a competitive offer. Because we know our market has slowed down. Inventory is still low, but there are a lot of homes you still have to be ready to be competitive. And we want to make sure that we're working with a great lender partner that can make your client's offer as competitive as possible. Okay, y'all quiet. Y'all got any questions? I'm a fast talker. I'm a Southern girl, but I talk fast. Not sure where I got that from, but is that where I got it from, Howard? So if y'all have questions along the way, please stop. All right, so it's buyer consultation day. Everybody say yay. I love buyer consultations because like I said, it comes to me naturally. Like I would prefer to do this all day than do showings, but that's just me. Everybody's different. So your presentation is key. When I tell y'all almost 100% of my clients say, you actually had a presentation? And I'm just like, oh, okay. Yes, I do. So this is my graphic that our team uses for buyer consultations. It comes from breakthroughbroker.com. It is a free resource for real estate agents, and they have a lot of different resources, but this is the main thing I use. I use this for listing appointments as well. So you guys can use this as a resource. I did do a PowerPoint at first when I first started doing them, but me trying to talk and click, just like right now, as y'all can see, I'm not good with that. So this visual is up the entire time on the screen. Oh, and also, since the pandemic, my consultations are like 95% virtual. So it's up to you if you want to meet in person. When I met in person, I would print this out and give it to them. So it's totally up to you guys what you feel comfortable with. For me, it's a lot easier for me to just keep it on Zoom unless I need to meet them. And again, that first call, assess your client and ask a lot of questions like, do you like to meet in person? Do you like to meet virtually? But most people are like, yeah, I don't want to drive. I work all the time. Most people are like, yes, I do want to meet virtually. And it saves us gas, saves us time, because if your client is in Beaufort and you live in Riverdale, it's kind of like, woo. So, you know, this definitely saves time.
Did you say it was Breakthrough Broker?
Breakthroughbroker.com. And I can write it on the board too, as well. So the biggest thing that you want to ask your clients when you are getting on your consultation is, why do you want to buy a house? And you write that answer down. And I tell my clients, like, you might hear me take a long pause because I'm taking notes. I want to make sure I understand your needs and I can make sure that I'm showing up for you to the best of my ability as your agent. So why do you want to buy a house? And make sure you always know that. So when they get discouraged, when it's 5 offers and their offer is not getting chosen, when they can't find a house they want, you need to remind them of what they told you on this consultation. And that usually reels people back in like, oh yeah, we did say we pregnant and we don't have enough bedrooms. We gotta go. So, but people will get discouraged in this market. And I want to be 100% real with y'all. It's not like, you know, everybody's year has been slow. The people who've been in the game forever and the people who are just now starting out, we're all feeling that impact. So it's not just you, and it's not just like, oh, I'm doing all the right things and nothing is happening. It's the market, but you just got to be consistent. So one of the things that has helped me to get my clients to the end is just reminding them like, hey, don't forget you said X, Y, and Z. And is that a 100% like my client is going to make sure they buy a house if I remind them? No, of course not. So keep that in mind as well, but just know what it is and remind them of it as often as you can. So, like I said, before the consultation, I've connected with their lender so I can tell them like, hey, you qualify for these down payment programs. Your budget is this. We need to shop in this price point. Are you willing to go above that if we see something that is, you know, that you love? And one of the biggest things that I like to ask them too is, what are your top 5 non-negotiables? You guys have a cheat sheet there. It's a lot more detailed than the PowerPoint slides, and that's for a reason. I kind of wanted to give you guys more in depth of exactly what I'm talking about on these consultations. But yeah, those 5 non-negotiables helps you too, because this is a market where you're not going to get everything that you're looking for. And we have to be real with our clients about that. But if I can get you 5 things, what are those top 5 things? Yes, ma'am.
So I know we're kind of moving around a little bit, so I don't know if it's coming, but I'm looking at the top 5s, and then above it says, you explain the market. Is there anything kind of high level on the consultation call that you say to them when you're explaining the market? Like, what are you?
So in regards to the market, again, y'all, I'm real simple. I'm like, keep it simple, stupid. Like, that is if they don't ask, I don't say. I don't know if that's politically correct, but that's just kind of how I go with it. The main thing I'm going to address is it being a seller's market, and that we may have to be competitive and how to structure their offer for that. So yeah, I definitely let them know inventory is low. There is a higher demand of buyers and a less amount of homes to purchase. So we may run into bidding wars. So that's what I'm going to say consistently.
And I know this from our conversations, to help to enroll with that. You also do, like, if they're looking at 123 ABC Street, you kind of have seen what is sold around there, the price point, basically, kind of like a buyer CMA internally though, like, you know, she's not showing them anything, but she's telling them, you know, a house very similar just sold for 550, you know, they had multiple offers, I talked to the other agent, so something, you know.
Right, I just know
to-
sometimes people go down the rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Talk about all that stuff in the
No.
market, and to your point at the beginning, the buyer's like,
Yeah,
I don't even know what all that means. I
Yeah.
just wanna know if I can buy a house.
Exactly.
So I go
Exactly.
broad with mine,
yeah.
but again, if they don't ask, tell.
Exactly. That's how I feel. And even to Terrell's point, it depends on the client with that too. Like, once they tell me their top 5 non-negotiables and they tell me that their payment is $1,900 a month, I'm like, do y'all have a little room in there to massage that? Because it's not likely you're gonna find new construction under 300. So that's something that, that's been the biggest thing, is most people are like, I want turnkey new construction for $1,900 a month. And it's just kind of like, what? I will say this too, being inquisitive, y'all need to be connecting with these builders. A lot of builders are doing 5.9, 5.5 rates right now. So some of your clients, depending on the area they want to buy in, they can get in. And some of your clients, if location is not their non-negotiable, you can persuade them to move to that. It's like you get the new construction, you get all the 5 negotiables are here. You just might have to move a little bit further or not in the most ideal area that you prefer. And so I've been getting a lot of my clients like that, like, hey, Liberty has 5% right now. Rockhaven is doing 5%, almost not 5% even, but like 5.8, 5.9 on most of their property. So make sure you guys, again, stay inquisitive, because when you start to see that, you're like, oh, I'm encouraged, because your client right now can buy a resale home at 7% and their payment is like 24, 25, 2,600.
So, oh,
Sorry, who was first?
Patricia was first.
Okay.
okay, so during your discovery, call, I know, because of the fact that you sell a lot of new construction. Cause I know I'm straight chaser, you know, straight to the point.
Mhm.
Hey, do you want new construction or are you open to a resale? I'm sure you do that too, right? Before sending them over to the lender, like showing them.
So I like to know the number. So I tell them about, you can shop for lenders within a 30-day, 45-day time frame without your credit being impacted negatively. But I like to have that letter, because if they can't realistically shop new construction and they want new construction, it's just kind of like,
What are we doing?
yeah. So I like to get that letter regardless of whether they want new construction. I like to have it because I need to know. A lot of my clients, I'm not really an aggressive person. I'm not a salesperson, but I do keep it real with my clients. And I say, hey, if you want new construction, let's just see how much you qualify for. Let's make sure that that's the best fit for you. And most people don't really realize what new construction is when you think about it. Because when I start showing homes, a lot of my clients are like, oh, I don't really have to have new construction. I just want it to look nice. So you kind of have to make sure you know what they mean when they say new construction as well. A lot of homes are being remodeled right now in Atlanta. Some of them are whack jobs, but that's something else you can do too. If your client wants new construction, you can kind of present remodeled options to see if that fits their budget. But getting back on track, y'all, I missed the most important thing to do before this buyer consultation. I forgot to say, get that pre-qualification letter. Also, send them that buyer brokerage agreement before the consultation. I started doing that, and when Terrell said my presentation used to be 1.5 hours and now it's 30 minutes, that's exactly why. Because once it's kind of like sending a pre-listing package. It's like you send an email with the resources, you send the the buyer brokerage agreement, and they already have it. 85% of my clients, it's already signed by the time we even get to this. So I used to like take 30 minutes to explain, and I'm like, oh, I'll feel bad if they don't know what they're signing. These people, again, we just overthink it. They're not even thinking about that, because the GAR forms are really, really easy to understand. And most people who can read, they understand them. You don't have to always do the most, and it just takes up a lot more of your time.
Sometimes it confuses them, like they may see it simple and they be thinking like, oh, it's about food.
Yeah.
And you get those telling them the technicality. Like,
Right.
wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
I can read that.
Yeah, exactly. So you could put yourself in a hole by doing all of that too. That's so true. So I do send the buyer brokerage agreement before the consultation. Yes, ma'am.
Well, my question was, it's kind of before we get to the consultation, and I'm happy to talk to you all the time, but I mean, for other people,
Yeah.
like, what would happen if people like don't wanna do, or this is like, not too much, but like, I've had a client of ours who, you know, do we have to do the whole presentation? Can you just tell me over the phone, like, how do you redirect them to like, this is important?
Yes,
to-
that's a great question. So for me, I treat I know my worth. And if it's not going back to having the right mindset, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. If a client says, I'm not going to use you because of how you do X, Y, and Z, then I just feel like it's not meant to be. Again, that's very hard because it's a hard marketing. You want to work with everybody. But sometimes it's okay to let things go and realize it's not for you. I definitely feel like, you know, we all in here respect that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. And it's not nothing we can do about it. It's closed on Sunday and we have to wait to go on Monday. And so that's another thing too, because when I was a new agent, I'm like, I just gotta like Giselle said, I just gotta go. Even be careful with your family, because you'll be trying to like, oh, it's my family, so I don't have to do this. Nope. I learned the hard way. Everybody has to go through the same exact process. Something you need to start thinking about is like, what do I want my customer service to look like? When people are doing reviews on me, what do I want them to say about me? And my clients consistently say, held my hand, broke it down, educated me. Like that is so consistent in my review. So it's like, oh, keep doing it. Do it for everybody. It's so crazy too, because I'll be transparent. My best friend was my first client in 2017. Fast forward, she's ready to move out of that home and buy another home. So I didn't do my process. She was like, let's go see this. And I'm like, yeah, let's go see this, girl. So we went to the new construction model home that she wanted to see. And Makita is her name. We're cool too. She starts talking and she starts saying all this stuff about, yeah, when you put your earnest money down, when you do da-da-da-da, when you da-da-da-da-da. And my friend was like, what is that again? What is this again? I'm like, it has been 6 years since she bought her house. She probably forgot. And I was like, girl, we need to do a consultation on Monday. And fortunately, I caught myself, but be careful because she also bought a home before. So I'm over here like, oh yeah, she doesn't need the whole shebang. Yes. I had to go back and be like, let's do your consultation on Monday.
I had a lender who became my client and he still needed a consultation.
Yeah. When I tell y'all,
That's crazy.
people are so thirsty for this information. Like people really don't know. And you'd be surprised. Scientists working at the CDC putting together formulas to secure COVID are just like, when it comes to this, they're like, what? I mean, so keep in mind, you're the expert. So even if you don't know everything, you know way more than them. 9 times out of 10, you know so much more than they know. So we gotta, what I say, do it scared.
You also heard some $25.
$25 kids for kids. Okay, y'all keep me on track on time because I'll be talking on the tangent. What time is it? 2:30. Okay. Okay, cool. Also, when it comes to this, so I'm going through this, and that's how I get the titles of everything. You can't really see it clearly, but it's like the surge, making an offer, blah, 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 blah. And so that's kind of what the headings are here. So we talked about the top 5 must-haves. When it's talking about the search part, another thing too, and I had to learn this the hard way and I don't want y'all to, set boundaries up front. I tell my clients, I show homes Monday through Thursday from 1 to 5, Saturdays from 10 to 4. I do not work on Sundays. Now, everybody, you know, you have to set your own schedule because right now you have to kind of see how things go. I haven't always been off on Sundays, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I need a me day. So I don't work on Sundays. I don't show homes on Sundays. And then, you know, some of us, when you get to the point of like doing showamis and showing assistants, that can kind of free you up a little bit too. So if my client wants to go see a home at 8 in the morning, I'm calling a showing assistant. So you guys have to kind of build your schedule based on, you know, what your budget is or based on your time, but don't let your clients run you ragged regardless. If you want to show homes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., do a hard stop. Like don't show no homes at 8, because once you show a home at 8, they're going to be expecting you to show a home at 8 another time. So just whatever your boundary is, set it and stick to it. And I let my clients know that. I'm like, hey, even if you have showing assistants, people are like, how do I let them know it may not be me? I used to feel so bad about that. Like, I'm not gonna show up for the showing. Oh my God. People are just like, I'm just trying to see the house. Like, but let them know up front. You don't want it to be like you set up the showing, we're supposed to meet on Saturday at 1 and then it's somebody else. And so that's why this call is for Yeah, it may not be me depending on when you want to schedule. And if my schedule doesn't work for you, let me know and I can pair you with my showing assistant. But if you don't have the budget for showing assistants, just set your schedule and just stick to that. Even with phone calls too, they're going to be calling you. You're going to say all this beautiful information for 30 to 45 minutes, and they're going to call you the next day and be like, you didn't tell me about appraisal contingencies. Yes, I did, but okay. But also just make sure you have boundaries with how late people can call you, because your time is precious. And going back to mindset, if you are really working all day, you're going to burn out so quick in this business. You got to have time for yourself, for your family, whatever you treasure and cherish. Make sure you have time for that. All right, I want to wrap this up a little bit more quickly because I want to make sure I get to all y'all's good questions. So we talked about the non-negotiables already. The biggest thing that I break down is making an offer competitive, because that goes into their investment. And so I broke it down a little bit more on here. I'll just do a high level of making that offer. Oh, I skipped something. Something else I do is I let my clients know when we start going on showings, I want to make sure I'm learning your home buying style. So we're going to rate each home on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being high and 1 being low. And so that is really good. People love that too, because they're like, oh, okay. Because people don't really know what they want. And that's one thing too. They're going to tell you their 5 negotiables are like some little cosmetic stuff. And then we get to the first one, they're like, oh, I do need a garage. And it's like, I knew you were going to need a garage, but yeah, especially like I realize now I have a lot of clients who are couples. They start realizing like I do have to have a walk-in closet. I do need to have double sinks. And so keep in mind who you're talking to too. All my single female clients end up buying new construction. So now I'm like, girl, you're gonna end up buying new construction. I don't say it like that, y'all, not that chill. I'm like, you're probably gonna be leaning toward new construction. Let's look over here and see how we can make this work. Because all my single female clients, including me, new construction. So you'll start to learn that as you are getting more clients. But anyway, so once they're telling me 4s and 5s, I'm like, are you ready to make an offer since this house is a 5? And then from there, I want to break down as best of my ability. This is the key part, because this is where you start talking about money coming out, them getting serious about moving forward. So this is the part you really need to hone in on and make sure that they are aware of what it takes to make an offer. And in this market, it's going to be a very competitive offer if it's multiple bidders. Anybody have questions so far before we get into this?
Those are in 8 days.
Exactly. So the biggest things that my clients ask me about making an offer is, do I have to offer over asking? I mean, as agents, like, yeah, duh. I mean, of course, people want more money when they have multiple bidders, but it just depends on your client's budget. So I let them know for every $1,000 over asking, your mortgage payment only changes about $5 or $6. And people are like, oh, that's a relief. I thought it was going to be $100 more a month if I offered over. So make sure you kind of dispel myths in this part, because people have a lot of preconceived notions in their head, and we got to dispel those. And so that's one of the main things I get is like, I don't want to offer over asking because my payment's going to go up like $100. It can go up $100, but not by offering $5,000, $10,000 over asking. It won't change it that much. So that's one of the main things I would say. Right now, because the market has slowed down, you're not really offering more than like 5 to 10 over asking right now anyway. You know, during the pandemic, it was like 20, people were offering 50. So fortunately, we're not in that space right now. Yeah, thank you, because that was a lot. And then I want to talk about what I talked to the lender about. This is a really, you're really showing value to your client when you show up and say, I've talked to your lender, and they let me know that they can be competitive when it comes to making an offer. Right now, to be competitive, I tell my clients for an appraisal and finance contingency is going to be less than 14 days or less. And then I love to brag on Sharina, like, my lender can do it in 10 or less if you want to work with them. But it just depends on who the lender is and why they chose that lender. But right now, 14 days or less is going to be really competitive. Closing time frame, you want to be under 30 days as close as possible. So make sure the lenders can make your client's offer competitive. And when you come in confident saying, I've already talked to your lender, I know for a fact we can make your offer competitive, outside of just increasing the price point, your clients really, really appreciate that. We talk about earnest money. I always typically recommend 1% earnest money, unless I tell them it's your choice. If you want to go over that, if we talk to the agent and I find out they do have offers, some agents are really tight-lipped, y'all, but some are like, hey, we do have offers that 10,000 earnest money. I'm like, do y'all want to offer more earnest money? But for the most part, we do 1% of the offer price. Right now, I haven't really been talking about appraisal gaps, escalation clauses. It's not really necessary, but people who are new to the business during the pandemic, it was crazy, insane offer writing. So we were having to do like, okay, my client is offering, the house is listed for 300, my client is offering 320. So the seller wanted to know, if it appraises low, is your client willing to pay that cash difference? So that's what the appraisal gap was for. And then the escalation clause was for clients who wanted to offer up, but were kind of scared about offering above the market value. And so you could offer, same scenario, listed for 300, we're gonna offer 310, but if we have to, we can offer up to 320. But that's not really needed right now, but I wanna put that out there because you never know, the market can shift at any moment. So making that offer competitive is something that I really focus on, and that is gonna be a huge factor in this consultation, is how to make that offer competitive. And then the other part of the presentation that's gonna be, I'm gonna delve in on is when we go under contract, that's when you kind of start having to pay money. So I'll let them know you are gonna have to pay your earnest money within 3 days. You're gonna wire that to the attorney's office or to my office. And you are gonna have to pay for that appraisal and inspection upfront. And now I call it upfront cost because if your client does end up choosing new construction, it's gonna be a little bit different. So I just tell them before you close, you typically pay inspection fees, appraisal, and deposits. And the rest is pretty simple. I do have a transaction coordinator. So for those of you who are considering that option, y'all, transaction coordinators are great. You pay them at closing and they do all the paperwork stuff. Who said they didn't like paperwork? Get you a transaction coordinator, girl. You don't have to pay her till closing day. And I tell you, when I got mine, I'm like, whoo. And now I'm not gonna call her out, but one of my other friends and mentees is in the room, and she was just like asking all these questions. I'm like, I forgot how to do that because I don't even think about that anymore. It's just like out of sight, out of mind. So transaction coordinators are great because you get to pay them at the end and they get to do all the paperwork for you. So I let my clients know, like, hey, you are gonna also be getting contacted by somebody else on my team. That's not me at this point too. So if you do have a team, you want to make sure you let people know, like, it's not going to always just be me reaching out to you. I'll have showing assistants. I have a transaction coordinator, whoever is on your team. If you have that, make sure you let your clients know upfront.
The transaction coordinators is paid by you or a public client?
It's paid by us. But it comes out of your commission proceed. Yeah.
So it's kind of like you.
But in Missouri, they, some of the agents.
They pay the
yeah,
buyer, the buyer fee.
They charge
That's what I-
higher.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to get it understood because, but I understand what you're saying. Like if you don't have it, you don't miss it.
Right. Exactly. So if the deal terminates, you don't have to pay your transaction coordinator. Yeah. Yeah. And then you just talk about final details. I just kind of let my clients know, like, we are going to do some type of final walkthrough. If they got new construction, the builder sets up some walkthroughs and they have warranties included. And we just kind of talk about wiring the earnest money. That's a big thing because before the pandemic, you kind of go into your bank and wire same day. For whatever reason, now post-pandemic, you need to go in early. So I stress that. And you learn as you go, like, listen to your clients because it's so funny. A lot of the things I talk about is based on what I've heard my clients say or what they told me. And I'm like, let me start adding that to my buyer consultation. So over time, as you're listening and getting feedback from your clients, you'll know how you want to structure your presentation and what you feel like is really important. So I had a client last week, she closed in August. And she sent this like really aggressive email to me and the lender and the attorney. And she was like, hey, my loan got sold. I don't know who to pay my mortgage to, blah, 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 blah. And so now something like that, I'm like, let me go ahead and incorporate that in my buyer consultation. They talk about it at closing, but a lot of times I realize for me, I'm the only person that's really breaking it down. When your clients are talking to the lender and talking to the attorneys and all these other people, typically they're talking to your clients like that. Your clients already know what they're talking about because this is their everyday in and out. And so it's our job to break that down. And even though I know the attorney said it over and over and over at closing, your loan will potentially be sold to another mortgage company. She didn't hear that because she was like, nobody told me. I mean, the email was crazy. Y'all know, just like, but it's notes for me to go back and say, hey, maybe that's something I need to highlight a little bit more so that clients are aware. Homestead exemption is another thing that I don't really talk about on here. But that's another thing too, I realized like my clients are first hearing that when they get to the closing table, and I kind of want to start bringing that up sooner. What homestead exemption looks like. So you'll start to learn like what exactly you should add. But the main things you want to talk about, like I said earlier, is what you discuss with their lender, what it's going to look like when you guys search for homes, what the market is like. It's a seller's market, so we may have to be competitive, and how to make that offer competitive, introducing them to anybody who's a part of your team. And then just letting them know like, hey, you know, if you want to give me feedback throughout, if you hate how this is going, let me know. I tell my clients that like, if you have a problem with anything, please let me know, because I'm trying to serve you to the best of my ability. And that really just strengthens that bond up front. They're like, oh, okay, she said I could tell her if I don't like something. So my clients, I've never had a nasty client. That hasn't been my experience, but I do feel like my clients have been able to say, actually, I don't like this, or actually, can you send me more homes, or can you send me less homes? Oh, I didn't talk about buyer instant notifications from FMLS. I started doing that before the buyer consultation as well, but it's up to you. You don't have to do that. But I like to do it before now. And if for people who are new, that's like the instant notification system from FMLS. You can put them on an auto system to receive homes. And so in the email they get before the consultation, it says, here's a link to my Google form, and they fill out beforehand what they like, how many bedrooms, what area. So before the call, they're already kind of seeing what's in the area and kind of knowing what price point is going to fit that area. So by the time we get to the call, we can see if that's really realistic or if we need to readjust.
You say you do that, you go to the MLS website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I started incorporating that too after a meeting we had, just one, to get them off of Zillow, because people just lean on Zillow way too much. But also to kind of really just give them a realistic view of what they're gonna be shopping for. A lot of people, before they get pre-approved, they're looking way over budget, falling in love with houses way out of the budget, and it kind of sets them in reality. So when they do see the houses that they get pre-approved for, if we open up the search to like, you know, areas of Fulton County to Cab, and that they can see what's all over, so it can make it more open. So that is something that I learned from her to incorporate before everything, so that they can see actually and get off the soil.
Yep. So it's 2:47. I want to get to you guys' questions, but the last thing I want to talk about is asking for the business. So at this point in the presentation, I've built this relationship because I've been talking to them before we even got to this point, and then I talked to them on here and they're like, they feel so relieved. Most of my clients were like, this was so thorough. Thank you for the presentation. This was great. And so getting them to sign the buyer brokerage agreement is most times not an issue for me. I do just say up front, like, commission is typically paid by the seller. However, the buyer will be, does have to pay my commission if the seller's not paying a commission. So I tell them, if you're out and you see for sale by owner signs, if you do go to a new construction property, tell me first, because I want to make sure that my commission will be paid by that seller, or I can negotiate it into the deal. Another good thing about being inquisitive, when I first got into the business, again, I love new construction, so I have a lot of good relationships now with a lot of on-site agents. And so my clients can definitely go out on a Saturday and stop by a model home. And my commission is protected. So if you guys are just like, I don't have nothing to do, it's plenty to do. Like, get out there and be learning and connecting as often as you can. Because those relationships, like I said, when I showed my best friend that house, Makita, we're cool. Like, our team is even doing events with Makita now. I mean, we just built that relationship. So it's so important to have as many relationships as you can in this business, not just on-site agents, but attorneys, home inspectors, lenders, and you become such a value to your clients by having that. But yeah, with new construction, like, if your client is out driving, it's kind of stupid for them to already be, you know, on La Vista Road trying to go see Century Community, and then y'all didn't have an appointment. They should be able to walk in. And so it's just so good if you already know that agent. But you could also call the agent and say, hey, my client is there. Can they come in? Most people are going to be accommodating. So y'all too quiet for me. So I want everybody to turn to their neighbor and tell them something that they learned today. And I want one or two groups to shout it out, and then we'll take questions and we'll be ready to wrap this up.
They'll treat it more like a fish and sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is your? It's like a 15-minute call.
All right, y'all. Anybody want to share what they learned today? Them in their group?
I'll share, Derek said that he definitely, and he has a couple of under contract right now, but he said he definitely learned that he has to be, more thorough. He has to, share more information.
Yeah.
Upfront.
Yeah, that's good because again, my cousin and her boyfriend bought a house for me in 2018. And I did the same thing, just got excited. Let's go see this house. And they started asking me all these questions. And I'm like, so you learn as you go. So don't feel bad. I definitely had to learn. It took me about a good year of like, oh, this isn't. And I came from teaching. So it's like, girl, you're supposed to teach these people before you put them out in the field. That's how everything goes. But yeah, don't be too hard on yourself if you haven't started doing it like this.
The first one, I know this was more so for your regular normal client buyer, but when it comes to, do you have what do you do different for like investor clients? Because I know
Actually, I was thinking to ask the same question.
yeah, because I know sometimes they want you to come with comps and
Yeah.
they won't have the same pre-approval requirements that
Right.
other buyers have. Do you do anything differently?
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't work with a lot of investors, but on that discovery call, I'm kind of asking those questions like what is the purpose of your investment? Are you going to be paying cash, hard money, traditional financing? What area are you looking in? And so then on the consultation, I do have to kind of restructure it to fit an investor's needs. Yeah, so basically you're not really focusing so much on like the offer, because they know about making offers and all that. You're more so focusing on, like you said, like the area. And that's more so, Jay, like when you would get more into like what's going on in the market and having all those things together. Like you said, based on this area, you can get this ARV, and that's after renovation value and those types of technical terms. Yeah, definitely have to restructure for an investor. Anybody else have questions or want to share what they learned either way? Yes,
Two
sir.
things. I have a question and I'll tell you what I learned. I like the idea of the Google form. It's kind of like the pre-listing agreement, the pre-listing packet.
Right.
It's like a pre-buyer consultation packet, super helpful. And also, you have a gallery of lenders, right? And you have your pre-call. How do you determine which lender you'll send any particular buyer to?
That's so funny. I get this feeling in my gut, but basically I know what each of my lenders is capable of. And it's all about that lender and his client. I really have to talk to them on the phone because I feel like they're like, I don't know. So a lender who doesn't answer the phone, that's not gonna work, because they're gonna be blowing them up like, I don't know what I'm doing, I need help. Down payment assistance makes a big difference because everybody doesn't have down payment right now. So yeah, that's pretty much, it's a hard question for me to answer because I really pretty much have to talk to them on that first call to be like, what's their personality type, you know?
It doesn't fit though.
Yeah.
That's the answer. If you match styles.
Yeah, yeah,
And if there's no style match, it's like, okay, somebody can say, hey, fit on that.
yeah, Yeah.
That's the game.
yeah,
That you have to learn is who the key players are.
yeah,
The quicker you learn that, the more you're gonna start writing, contracts.
yeah.
And get them closed.
Yeah, and again, like Sharina's my go-to agent. It works so well for clients who have money and are ready to roll.
Oh,
Cause Sharina can get them in, pre-approved, close in 8 days, and we good. So, like I said, I do have a lender that does Invest Atlanta. So if my clients need down payment, and they know they want to live in the city, they're gonna go to him. We have a new lender partner, Allison, what's the name of her mortgage company?
McCarty Mortgage Group.
Yeah, she's doing a 1% conventional loan right now. So again, be inquisitive. Every time a lender sends you an email, go to their stuff, because you just never know. So one thing that people feel bad about, another reason I love Sharina, people feel really bad about like working with a lender and like then end up changing their mind. But that's the nature of the game. Like you kind of have to go who's the best fit for you. I don't want you to change realtors, but we can change. We can change lenders. And she's so cool about it. Like I had a lender cuss me out before, like, you told them to go to a different lender. We were literally under contracts and we were a week from closing, and she said, the underwriter's not gonna approve this loan. Send it to Sharina. Sharina said, we got it. Sharina closed it. So she found out and cussed me out, but. She said, yeah, but she wanted them to wait another year. She thought they were gonna wait another year. And I'm like, we're too close. And see, one thing about me, you can ask Giselle, I do not stop. You can ask Terrell too. I don't give up. When somebody says we about to the contract about to fall through, or that gets, I don't know, it just gives me like motivation. I'm like, okay, Terrell, how we gonna work this out? Who can we call? He like, okay, let's try this. Let's do this. Like we had a deal this year and it was crazy. But she closed. I think she regrets it.
Remember yesterday we talked about,
Girl,
it doesn't get easier, whatever, we just learn how to do hard.
Yeah.
That's kind of an example of what I'm talking.
Y'all.
We how to do hard there. Cause we'll get off and I'll be like, yeah, let's do this. And then she'll come back the next day. I did this, I did that. This where we at. Then 2 weeks later, we close. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
But it's just that I'm gonna climb this, I'm going to get over this hurdle.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing too, and I'm gone. Like, if you got somebody that if you have a ready, able and willing seller and a ready, able and willing buyer, there's nothing that you guys can come over.
Yeah.
Money,
Yeah.
inspection stuff, none of that. If that buyer likes that house and that seller wants that house.
Yeah.
It's your job to put the right people together to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because they want it. They want it.
Yeah.
And you just gotta fight. You just gotta fight for them. So-
And I've never been in a buyer's market, but to Terrell's point, once we're under contract, people are pretty much exhausted. Like we've probably written at least 2 or 3 offers before we even got to this one. We've probably seen 25 homes. They're not trying to start all over. And I'm not trying to make them start all over because they might be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and rent because I'm over this. So I'm just like, no. We gotta go the distance. And I'll tell y'all right now too, like things will happen, like I said, something happened to our team yesterday and Terrell knows about it and we all just got taken for a loop. And I have another client, she bought her house in June. Jesus, I hate just even saying this. She bought her house in June. She bought her house in June and unfortunately she changed jobs a week before we closed. The lender said, hey, we can take this offer letter and we can do a subject to getting the pay stubs. Got the pay stubs. Now the lender is like, the pay stubs are fraudulent. So we need your home is due on sale, which means basically she got to pay her whole loan back.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Or she got to move.
Well, we're past that point. I mean, she just got her pre-foreclosure letter yesterday.
But she, you know, what, she didn't actually proxy fraud, right?
No, so when she changed jobs, her employer, I don't know him, and I don't know this man. He could be a criminal, I don't know. But what it sounds to me like, he has a small company and he's never had anybody approach him. I think it's a new small company. He's never had anybody approach him about W-2s, and I don't think he knew how to handle it. So he tried to do it himself. That's what I think happened. And the lender was like, absolutely not. Give us our money back.
Oh, but that'll happen, they do a look, they're gonna look back and make sure you're still working, make sure they're gonna pull your taxes again, they're gonna check your credit again. After you close, they're gonna do a look back, because people get real slick, because now your credit is pretty. And, I'm gonna put this job after, no, they're gonna do a look back. So, and they will consider it fraud, and you signed a whole lot of papers.
Yep.
And closing that says you're gonna keep a job, that you're gonna do all these things, and you signed something that says, you signed the 45016 for them to pull your transfer. Again, they had
Yeah.
it 5 times already, so they're not playing.
So it really doesn't matter if you change jobs, it matters if you like get less money on the new job?
Well, this lender told me it was because she got a new job, because he said they probably wouldn't have checked the pay stubs again if she had been on the job that they had already been looking at the whole time. But since she changed jobs, I think she was making more money on this new job, but it was just like they needed to have official pay stubs. Yeah.
She should have said.
Yeah, for that extra time. But here we are. So it goes back to have the right mindset, do it scared.
So can
Being
she list
inquisitive.
it? Can you list her?
It's listed right now, but now we're past like they gave her like 30 days to pay them back.
She, you better go find her a cash buyer.
Where's her house?
It's in East Point.
I don't know, that's what I'm
East Point, 340, we reduced to 334.
It's time for work.
The address is, why can't I think? What's the address of that property? I don't know. I can't think. Y'all, anybody have questions? So y'all, this is my Twilio number. I'm gonna give y'all my personal number because we family.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, 770-331-6132. If y'all need absolutely anything, please let me know. And for those who are new in our office too, like, so the reason I have stayed in this office the whole time, Terrell is just very approachable, very helpful, so you can always reach out to Terrell too. I hate to put that out there on him, but it's true. He's a great team leader. A great team leader. Oh, one more thing I forgot to tell y'all. It's important to follow up after the consultation. Pretty much what you see here is a, what do I want to say? A simplified version of the email, but they get a very detailed email. And it's pretty much this. After we have do y'all have the stack of papers? The printouts, handouts?
No.
Oh, we out? Okay. I think it's second. Yeah, just a second. So after the consultation, they pretty much get this. It's a little bit more elaborate.
Oh, that's on the back.
And they also get a handwritten thank you note. So make sure you are following up and just showing gratitude. I didn't mention that. I don't know how I forgot that, but showing gratitude at the beginning of my consultation is key. Showing gratitude throughout the process is key. That also helps your client be able to trust you and want to see it through because they value you. They see that you bring value and that you're grateful for the opportunities to serve them. So, anybody have any more questions? Okay, well, I have enjoyed y'all today. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all for being a great audience. And like I said, if y'all need me, call me or text me. I'm a better texter, y'all. I gotta work on the phone calls. Y'all have